2 years ago, in the month of May, Kenya was hit with unusually heavy rains. The country would wake up on May the 10th, 2018, to the shocking news of a private dam breaking its banks in Nakuru. The Solai Dam burst, claiming 48 lives and rendering thousands homeless. Now, more than 2 years later, what is the state of the victims and whatever happened to the owners of the fateful dam? Our very own Victoria Rubadiri takes us through the devastating timeline of the Solai Dam tragedy on tonight's National Reminder.
On the night of May 9th, 2018, 72 million litres of water gushed out of a private dam in Nakuru, tearing through 2 villages that rested downstream. The Solai Dam tragedy, as we now know it, claimed a total of 48 lives and left at least 5,000 people homeless. Heavy rains that began in March that year caused massive flooding across the country. The Solai area was not spared. Rescue efforts to unearth bodies of men, women, and children buried under heaps of thick mud, broken trees, and other debris were hampered by more rains. On May 16th, residents of Solai bid a final farewell to the departed. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, William Ruto, joined mourners that day and pledged to do everything possible to help the affected.
We in government will also continue to do our part as we continue to rescue marooned Kenyans, give water and essential medicines where they are called for, intervene and continue to bring relief food, and restore clean water systems and sanitation where necessary.
From then on, questions on how this could have happened, who owned the dam, and who cleared it in the first place began to surface. It was alleged that days before the dam burst, residents and workers had complained about leaks and cracks in its exterior. It was one of 5 earthen embankment dams belonging to Perry Mansuk on the private property of his 3,500-acre commercial rose farm and business known as Solai Roses. All the dams were between 15 and 20 years old at the time of the incident. 2 lawsuits were filed, one on June 19, 2018, when Dr. Peter Mbai, the Kabazi ward representative, moved to court. He sued the National Environment Management Authority, or NEMA, the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation, Tindris Patel Coffee Estates, and Salt Manufacturers Company. The MCA sought orders to compel NEMA to conduct an environmental impact assessment of the remaining dams on the farm. He also wanted the dam owner compelled to restore the ecosystem within the farm after the assessment. In June of this year, the petition was dismissed. The other suit filed in June last year in the Environment and Land Court at Nakuru under petition number 13 of 2018 by the Justice and Environment Foundation was a petition for the compensation of the Solai Dam victims. It too was thrown out on the 27th of February this year. The grounds were lack of requisite jurisdiction to determine the petition. However, there was some promise with the investigations by the Director of Public Prosecutions on July 4th, 2018. The DPP said investigators found that the construction of the dam was done by unqualified staff using farm equipment, leading to construction and design flaws. In addition, the water permit issued to the farm was irregular, and the owners, NEMA, and the Water Resources Authority, or WRA, failed to ensure environmental compliance. The DPP swiftly ordered the arrest of the owner of the dam and the general manager. 7 NEMA and WRA officials were indicted as well. The following day, on July 5th, the owner of the Patel Dam, Perry Mansuk, and manager Vinod Jawankumar were arrested by Naivasha Sub-County Police. The charges against them included manslaughter, neglect of official duty, and failing to prepare an environmental impact assessment report. A week later, on July 11, 2018, the Senate Ad Hoc Committee probing the Solai Dam tragedy called on Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i to suspend the then Nakuru County Commissioner Joshua Nkanatha and senior administration officers in the county for what it ruled as aiding to abet injustice. In April last year, some of the victims would finally see a return to normal life. The Kenya Red Cross Society handed over 37 newly constructed housing units to affected families. The total cost was 37 million shillings, with each two-bedroomed unit costing 850,000 shillings. This was part of the national government's 1 billion shilling commitment to support flood victims in 2018. However, in the halls of justice, the case against the Patel Dam owners was nowhere close to being decided. A good 18 months would pass from the date it was brought to court, necessitating complaints from both the victims and suspects. A series of adjournments on the case left victims with little hope of justice. In February of this year, Chief Magistrate's Court sitting in Naivasha Sub-County acquitted the 9 people charged with manslaughter. The accused, who included the dam owner, were cleared and walked scot-free. Chief Magistrate Kennedy Bidali's reasoning: there was a lack of commitment from the state prosecution. He stated the office of the DPP had failed to produce a single witness or even a witness statement. From the DPP's end, the reason for the delay was due to a request by his office to have the case moved to Nairobi to ensure a fair hearing. Now, the response to their request took 18 months and was subsequently denied. Nonetheless, the DPP termed the decision to set the 9 free unfair and an abuse of the rights of the victims of the dam tragedy. His office would appeal against the acquittal, and just last month, the office of the DPP applied to have the suspects take fresh pleas. The magistrate directed the DPP to present the application in written form and serve the parties before mention on October 2020. In the meantime, the survivors of the tragedy and those who lost their loved ones are still waiting for justice 2.5 years later. That's the national reminder of the week, lest you forget.